Every use case we fell into that same exact problem, saying that okay, how do you send money? Is like, I just do an international wire. It costs me like 5%, 7%, 8%, and then they don't even get to do a credit card payment. I think there were some limitations there. If not, it's 10%. Nobody questioned the system, or even if they want to ask a question, who do they go? I mean, it's again the legacy banks.
I think it's the mindset that once you are in part of a system, you don't question the status quo. You just keep going through the same motions over and over again. The opportunity to support the Indian exporters and be able to put more money in their pockets through facilitating more seamless and more transparent collection of funds that they are expecting. Feel proud that we are able to contribute in that small way to the growth of India as a country, as it looks forward to becoming the third largest economy in a few years from now. It's been close to 35 years since we've known each other back in college.
I know.
I don't want to make us feel too old. We are ever young, but since college days, we've gone our different ways. We both have been in the US for a very long time. Life has taken us in different directions. You've been in, running your family business, and I've been into my venture capital stint, and then business school, and so on. But somehow, when we caught up back in about 3 years back, I remember very clearly on a Memorial Day weekend.
I think right.
I was at your place in San Francisco, and we were just chatting, and I remember distinctly you were talking about some of the problems that you've been facing in the businesses that you are managing, the family business, where you were looking at payments being very inefficiently handled between India and US. And I said, that's very interesting. I'm working on exactly a solution that can work with facilitating those payments, and we sort of put two and two together.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think doing business for almost 15-20 years in US and sending all these payments back in India, I think that's where we started a conversation. And then we were sitting in that Silicon Valley thinking about how the big wigs have been formed and all the companies were formed. We were all vetting out different ideas, and then suddenly I think my business, my jewelry business that I was doing it, and I simply asked you saying that, hey, why am I paying these fees which I don't even understand what these fees are, right? I mean, that's how I think the bank fees, the markup fees, the FX fees, and then I send the money, and then I tell you like I don't even know where it went, and then sleepless nights of 2-3 sleepless nights, and then I call up the guy saying that, have you received it overnight? And then the guy used to send me a message, and then I was like, dude, it's finally received. And I think that's what we were talking to you, and then you suddenly came up saying that, hey, why are you still following the old legacy, I think 50-year-old, 100-year-old international wire model? And to be honest, like nobody knew at that point, because all the businesses were simply doing running into a bank,
right,
and do an international wire, and then wait for your destiny, and then someday it would appear, and you don't even have anybody to ask why this fees and all that stuff. I think that's where I remember, man. That's
It's been a fun journey actually, trying to navigate the problems that you were facing and the solutions that I was trying to put together, and how we can put two and two together and serve not just the business problems that you are facing, but since you were facing those problems in very innately, and it's no surprise that probably most businesses that are involved in some kind of cross-border receipts would have the exact same problem.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what happened. I think we started off with my business, and I think we took a white paper, sat for like 3-4 days, and then we picked up every use case. And I think every use case we fell into that same exact problem, saying that okay, how do you send money? Is like, I just do an international wire. It costs me like 5%, 7%, 8%, and then they don't even get to do a credit card payment. I think there were some limitations there. If not, it's 10%. And I think every use case that we hit into, we've exactly got to that cross-border payment with nobody having a solution. And I think there was a point where nobody questioned the system.
Absolutely.
I think that's where we stumbled upon saying that, hey, this is a 100-year-old system lying there. Nobody has the guts to question it. Nobody's asking a question, or even if they want to ask a question, who do they go? I mean, it's again the legacy banks.
I think it's not to the mindset that once you are in part of a system, you don't question the status quo. You just keep going through the same motions over and over again, and we were simply asking the question to each other, why are things the same way, and why can't we do things little differently and little bit more efficiently? And then if we could apply that approach to your business, we could easily do the same thing to pretty much every industry, every business out there. And even 2, 3, 4 years back, the typical solution would have been, let's send money through a PayPal.
Yeah.
Right. But as we all know, it's a very ubiquitous solution, but it's a very expensive solution.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never used it, man. I knew PayPal existed, but I was scared to use it for the charges, and I didn't even know what happens to the cross border. So that's the reason. Like locally, I might have used it, but not for the international side of things.
Absolutely.
So it's a very scary proposition of, okay, what if? How much am I charged? Kind of a model. So no, absolutely. I think, and there was other issues of saying that, okay, what if I don't have my money in my bank and I want to pay through some credit card? So the vendor wouldn't provide me that facility, because it's like I don't even have a facility. So what's surprising is all these businesses, Indian businesses, they do so much of business, but they don't have a cross-border payment capability to take a credit card because they don't get qualified. These are small people, small freelancers and website builders where I've built my websites and everything. I can't send a payment to them internationally at one shot. I don't even know who that guy is, right? And I was talking to you saying that, hey, I used to send $2,000, $3,000 to the wire on his name, hoping that he would deliver the product. And what if he doesn't do it? I cannot dispute anything. Because the guy says I cannot take a credit card. And that was one of the niche that we fell in, saying that, okay, it's the first time somebody's doing a cross-border service and he cannot pay a credit, because my credit card, I'm protected. So I pay $1,000, my credit card protects me. But if I send 1,000 in the wire, it's gone. And I think that's where we exactly
Absolutely. That trust factor, establishing the trust factor between the service provider and the business, whether it's a C2B payment or a B2B payment, how do you make sure that you are paying the intended person, the intended business, and the money is actually reaching the intended destination while being fully compliant with global regulatory standards, right? And something clicked in that conversation. Those 3-4 days that we just sat down, and I remember we were sitting at the dining table in your home and just planning out, what ifs and what nots and all those things. And I think at that instant, I think we were both very clear that this is an opportunity that we want to definitely jump in and see what we can make happen. And I think that's the foundation for Xchangely.
No, absolutely. See, it's so logical when you think about it, right? Somebody's offering a service or somebody's selling a product from India. What would you do? Like you would receive a cash, or you receive able to create a credit card. It's as simple as that. It's internationally and across 100 countries, if somebody's selling a product, he should be able to take a credit card transaction, or he should be able to receive payments. As simple as that.
Absolutely.
There is no way that somebody would receive an international wire separately. There's no capability of credit card. In today's world, in today's digital world thing, I cannot go and say like I don't have a credit card to receive it. And unfortunately, these thousands and thousands of businesses in India, they don't qualify because they've not done business in the past, or they've just started their business. So not getting that facility, and how do you collect their foreign remittances, right? And that's where we said, let's create a company, let's create a product where we meet end to end of a customer. It could be a $500 web freelancer to a 10 lakh, 20 lakhs a jeweler or anybody. So that I think that's why we said, saying that if sometimes I have 2 lakhs in my credit card account and I have 5 lakhs in my bank account, I should be able to make that payment. Why not? It's money is money, right? So that's why I think there was, I think when we searched on, and then it was amazing that we've not seen a company. There was no company that was willing to take my credit card payment a portion, and then my payment from the bank, unless until I pay these international wire fees and FXs, and I don't even know what my conversion rate is, and Google says it's $80, 80 rupees, and then my bank gives me 73, 74, and I have no other choice. And I think that's why we said, I think this is way too much, and we look at the scale of things and the scale of collections that is happening in India. I think we came up to a number like at least if we save 2-3%, the productivity of Indian thing is like in crores of rupees that we could literally save, and it's amazing that nobody has thought through, and very few people at least have put in.
Absolutely. I mean, India is a a growing economy. I mean, yes, in the current global context, perhaps it is now the 6th largest economy, or third. It was third until a few months ago. Now it's 6th, but it's just a margin of error kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the point is, India is looking at being the 3rd largest economy by 2030 or so.
Yeah.
As long as the the projections hold, and if that is the case, a significant part of that growth is going to come from growth in exports.
Absolutely.
And I think our mindset was that we have to be able to help the Indian exporters and bring money more efficiently, put more money in their pockets, rather than that money being chewed up by various sorts of fees and processing fees and transaction fees and so on.
Absolutely. I think ours was, to be honest, I think ours was a very simple business model. We didn't want to complicate it. It's not rocket science. Somebody ships a goods to any part of the world. Somebody provides a service like a freelancer or a website designer or a content creator. All they need is they need to collect money, right? And then what we want is on the other side of the field, for the trust factor, if they want to do a credit card payment, we should be able to enable them to do a credit card payment. If they want to receive the payment through a bank account, it should be in T+1. It cannot be T+4, T+6, because the poor guy in India, he's sitting there and he has to take his payroll and everything. So we said it's a very simple 1-point agenda. Give the power to the receiver and the sender equally. They should be, the sender should be able to send money using a different payment modes, even if it's an APM, right? I mean, I think we've enabled almost 70 plus APMs in the world now. I think we are almost the number one company, fintech company that offers the 70 plus APM. Nobody is there. So pay now in Singapore. I mean, it's as simple as that. You do a service in Singapore, the guy does an APM using the pay now, the guy in India receives it. So to be honest, it's not rocket science. I think it's something that people have not looked into that area, and fortunately we were able to crack in. It's been 3 years that we cracked, and also fortunately the products are out. People are loving it. I mean, there's no reason, right? I mean, now there's a website guy who's collecting money through credit card, and then second time, if he doesn't want to pay the charges, he's going to the virtual account solution that we have, where he's simply receiving it through his virtual account. So it's more ML, because it honestly doesn't matter where it is. So I think we've got some good testimonials from people. I think those are the 2 modes that they really wanted it, and we've enabled it. People are using it. Even a $500 they received it, and even a $50,000. I think the jeweler that we worked with, I mean, he's got a 40,000, 50,000, and he's all happy about it. I think it's very simple, but I think the idea is to now educate, and there's a lot of ifs and buts and saying that, okay, shall I believe, what is Xchangely kind of thing. But to be honest, it's all compliant. It's globally compliant. It's all RBI approved. Everything is the legacy banks that we use, the payment rails that we use. It's one and the same. It's just the thought process that we said, what if we questioned a gap, saying that, okay, why is this not happening? And we solve that problem. And it is more of people understanding what those product lines are and adopting it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, we are now able to provide a portfolio of services. If you want to use a bank account to make transfer, go ahead. If you want to make payment through a credit card, go ahead. If you don't have a credit card but you still want to make a payment, you use an available alternative payment method.
Absolutely. And remember, like, we've created the option to payment link. I think simple, like, I mean, you don't have a website. The guy said, I don't have a website, but I still have to collect $1,000, $2,000. And we said, okay, use a payment link. So the guy simply sends the payment link to WhatsApp to that guy. And then that guy has an APM method to send it, or simply enters the credit card and then receives it. I mean, it's an overnight thing. I mean, you just send a WhatsApp every day. You chat with him and you send a payment link in there to send my payment. So it could be as easy as a payment link that can change.
No, I feel very, fortunate that one, we were able to connect that Memorial Day weekend and sort of figure out what the gaps are. And we had the conviction to jump in and say, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
And now, a couple of years later, we are, it's our own merchants who are referring us to other merchants around and saying, hey, you should go talk to this person and see, why if you're able to serve me, you should be able to serve him.
No,
as
absolutely.
well.
Remember the website guy. Now he has like 10 virtual accounts in 10 different countries. So now all of a sudden he's saying that I'm branded now, because in UK nobody's doing an international wire, it seems. Earlier it was all international wire and they were asking 200 questions saying that where are you, where is your office, how reliable are you, how credible you are you. Now what we did was we gave him a UK's local account, and he says there's no question, because somebody in UK locally would be able to do a wire into a local account. Nobody would ask a question saying that, see, I'm local, you're local, you're sending me to a local account. But let's say if I tell you to do an international wire where you spend $50, go into a bank, sit down, write the SWIFT code properly, this code, that code. They're all very nervous about saying that, okay, who is this guy kind of a thing. So he was very happy saying that, okay, he cannot get an account in India. It takes about 20-25 days to get an account for a Indian entity to get an account here. And we are giving him 30-35 countries wherever he wants, and we've given him like 8 countries, we enabled him. He was astonished, saying that, okay, I have a US bank account where I'm able to collect locally without having an entity in US. It's unheard of.
In the name of his entity.
In the name of his business. What else you want? I mean, like, there's no taxes that you have to pay. There's no entities that you have to open up in US. There's no CA thing. You have a simple virtual collection account in each of the countries. You tell your clients, they do a domestic wire. I mean, if it's a US, they do an ACH, or if it's in Europe, they do a SEPA. It's like a click of a button, you get your money. And in T+1, you're getting your money in this. So you are literally representing yourself in 10, 20, 30 plus countries with no paperwork. It's unbelievable. I mean, like, when you think about it, I think it's just that education factor of people knowing the product, and luckily, I think whoever has used it, they're openly referring it, and it's an amazing. I would say that a payment evolution. I think it's a change in way people think. I think we asked the right question, and I think you brought in the scalability and the solutioning of what existed, and we just merged my business gap and your thing.
I mean, touchwood, touchwood. I have not walked out of a single conversation with any merchant so far where the merchant didn't say, let's make it work.
No, absolutely. See, from a merchant side, right? It's all about collecting. It doesn't matter it's coming from credit card, it's coming from payment link. It's about collecting money from the other guy. The other guy has a credit card, I'm able to take it. The other guy has a bank account, I'm able to take it, right? And without going into international wire. And the other guy does not know how to go into my payment gateway, I'm sending him a payment link. So you look at it, I think we've given a complete solution end to end where collect the money. And then most importantly is keep the cost low, and then transmit that money as quickly as possible. I think the end-to-end, I think I strongly believe that we are the only one, I mean, to be honest, maybe this thing, but we have an end-to-end solution. We can offer whichever solution that they want, and they can switch on whichever solution they want. They just want to start collecting with credit cards, be my guest. You built up your portfolio, you're costing it 2%, 3% today. You don't want that, and you want to move on to a virtual account eventually. Please move, because why pay 2%, 3%? Because Visa and MasterCard is what is getting it. So why pay that 2, 3%? Just pay less than 1% and get your money through bank transfer. So it's all up to the merchant, all up to the sender and the receiver. The convenience is there, the rails are out there, everything is live. You just go xchangely.com, just enroll it. Our customer support, our tech team would just enable you. Takes about 4-5 days. Imagine like you're getting 20, 30 accounts globally. So it would take 3-4 days for a KYC to happen. But other than that, I think there's no maintenance fee, there's no monthly fee, there's no minimum charges. You're literally getting 3, 4, 5 bank accounts just to keep it there with no cost. And whenever there's a payment comes in, you just brandedly give them saying that, hey, this is my US account, this is my UK account, and this is my credit card account, right? I mean, think about it. I think we made it in such an easy way, ease of use, no cost, just use it, and the hope is whole India or a majority of people would start using it. I think that's our hope where we've clearly come up.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to support the Indian exporters and be able to put more money in their pockets through facilitating more seamless and more transparent collection of funds that they're expecting, and feel proud that we are able to contribute in that small way to the growth of India as a country, as it looks forward to becoming the third largest economy in a few years from now.
No, absolutely. Also the visibility of the funds. Remember, like I used to send money to India, and then I had no clue. I don't even know like where the funds are. Like it goes from California to an intermediary bank, from intermediary to somewhere else, from somewhere else to the local account, from that account to I had sleepless nights, 2-3 days of saying that, hey, there's a big amount, where did it go? What if something goes wrong? Our dashboards, it's clear, right? I mean, it goes you, today it's went to this thing, and then T+1, where is the amounts there, and it goes into. So that's
very transparent, very clear in terms of where the funds are, when to expect them. And the moment the merchant's account is credited with those funds, we are able to provide them the FIRC that says
exactly.
This is how much you've received, and they can file that towards their GST exemption because it's export income.
Yep.
Very seamless. I mean, very thrilled about how far we have come in just a couple of years.
Yep.
And eagerly looking forward to what more we can build, and how much we can support Indian businesses as well as businesses globally in their and supporting their own growth story.
No, absolutely. I think we have a solid product out there. We have a solid small list count of customers who are using it. Everything is validated. I think it's a matter of us getting into the market, educating the people, and saying that, okay, this is what it is. It's hard to believe, like an Indian entity getting 20 accounts in the world, but it is true. The product is out there. It's hard to believe that, do I get a cross-border credit card capability? Yes, we are one of the very few people who would encourage that, especially the SMEs. We want more of SMEs to come in because that is where the growth is. And it's just a matter of learning the product, talking to the right people. We have a sales team out there, dedicated. We are on WhatsApp. It's a simple text. We explain you things. There's no cost. You can switch off anytime you want. You come in, it takes about a week to get onboarded, and after that you're not happy about it, there's no monthly fee. Just keep it or leave it kind of a thing. And then it's there's no liability as such. So we made the product very simple, so that you want to adopt, and then once you start using it, once you know the power of it, imagine somebody sending you US money and then I give you a US account. There's no questions asked, as simple as that. I mean, like I look local. What else you want, right? I look local, I get my payment in my US,
Absolutely.
and then the next day I get my payment back in India. So I feel like every SME has to have this branding, have to open up this and say like, hey, in UK I have this account kind of a thing. So I think it's a matter of time. I think let's hope the best. I think we educate and then we broadcast it, and good luck to both of us.
Building the business, one brick at a time, one step at a time, and moving forward, and supporting the broader exporters out there, the exporter base, and helping them bring more funds back into India.
Absolutely, this thing. So good luck to both of us, and let's hope we create some history.